Have you ever been in a situation where someone treated you unfairly, even though you were just trying to enjoy your day? Imagine being one of the most successful people in the country, yet still facing rejection when all you wanted was a simple meal. That's exactly what happened to JD Vance, the best-selling author and political powerhouse. But here's the twist. What he did next shocked everyone, including those who wronged him. Are you ready to hear this incredible story? JD Vance wasn't just another face in the crowd. By the time this incident took place, he had already become a household name. His book, Hillbilly Elegy, sold millions of copies and sparked conversations across America about class, culture, and identity. He was a Yale Law School graduate, a venture capitalist, and a rising star in politics. People admired him for his sharp mind, humble beginnings, and unshakable determination. But success didn't change JD. Despite his wealth and fame, he remained grounded, often visiting small-town diners and family-owned restaurants. To him, these places weren't just about food, they were reminders of where he came from, of the people who shaped him into the man he became. So when JD decided to stop by a local eatery during a busy workday, no one expected anything out of the ordinary. Little did they know, this visit would turn into something unforgettable. It was a typical afternoon when JD walked into the restaurant. The place looked cozy, with wooden tables and soft lighting that gave it a warm, inviting feel. He greeted the host politely and asked for a table by the window. But instead of leading him to a seat, the host hesitated. There was an awkward pause, followed by a mumbled excuse about how the restaurant was fully booked, despite clearly having empty tables. JD didn't argue at first. Maybe there was some misunderstanding, he thought. So he smiled and thanked the host before turning around to leave. But as he stepped outside, another customer recognized him and approached. "Mr. Vance," the man said, "I saw what happened. They turned you away because of who you are." At first, JD tried to brush it off. After all, he'd faced criticism before. It came with the territory of being in the public eye. But this felt different. This wasn't about politics or opinions. This was personal. It struck a nerve, not because JD cared about the snub itself, but because it reminded him of something deeper. The struggles of feeling out of place, even when you've achieved so much. And that's when JD made a decision. A choice that would surprise everyone, including those who had dismissed him moments earlier. JD didn't storm back inside or make a scene. Instead, he pulled out his phone and dialed a number. On the other end of the line was someone close to him, someone who knew how to handle situations like this. "Listen," JD said calmly, "something happened today that I think you should know about." As word spread about what had occurred, things started to heat up. Social media erupted with posts from people who had witnessed the incident. Some defended the restaurant, claiming it must have been a mistake. Others stood firmly behind JD, calling out the establishment for its actions. Before long, national news outlets picked up the story, turning a quiet lunchtime rejection into a nationwide conversation. Meanwhile, JD wasn't sitting idle. He reached out to local leaders, community organizers, and even former classmates who still lived in the area. Together, they hatched a plan, not one of revenge, but of redemption. JD believed that every situation offered an opportunity to learn and grow, even if it meant confronting uncomfortable truths. The tension built as details emerged. Reports surfaced that the restaurant had a history of treating certain customers differently based on their appearance or status. For JD, this wasn't just about himself anymore. It was about standing up for fairness and equality. But here's the kicker. His response wasn't what anyone expected. Instead of publicly shaming the restaurant, JD chose a different path. And trust me, you won't believe what he did next. The next day, JD returned to the restaurant, not as a customer but as a teacher. With permission from the owners, who were now deeply regretful and eager to make amends, he organized a meeting with the entire staff. No cameras, no reporters, just JD and the people who worked there every day. He didn't lecture them or demand apologies. Instead, he shared his own story. The struggles of growing up in a small town, the challenges of climbing the ladder of success, and the lessons he learned along the way. He talked about empathy, understanding, and the importance of treating everyone with respect, regardless of their background or status. Then came the moment that shocked everyone. JD announced that he would personally fund a series of workshops for the staff, focusing on diversity, inclusion, and customer service. These weren't just empty promises, they were actionable steps to ensure the same mistake wouldn't happen again. But that's not all. JD also revealed another surprise. He invited the staff to attend a special event at a local community center, where they could meet members of the community they served. It was a chance for open dialogue, a chance to bridge gaps and build connections. The room fell silent as the staff absorbed what JD had said. Some nodded, others wiped away tears. For many, it was the first time someone in JD's position had taken the time to listen, to teach, and to offer help rather than punishment. This act of grace turned the tables completely. What started as a humiliating experience became a turning point, not just for the restaurant, but for the entire community. In the weeks that followed, the restaurant underwent a transformation. The workshops JD funded made a real difference, helping staff understand the impact of their actions and how to create a more welcoming environment for everyone. Word spread quickly about the changes, and soon, the once controversial spot became a symbol of progress and unity. Customers returned, not just regulars, but new faces who wanted to support the establishment's journey toward redemption. The owner publicly thanked JD during an interview, calling him a true leader whose actions inspired others to do better. For JD, this wasn't the end of the story, it was the beginning of something bigger. Inspired by the experience, he launched a campaign aimed at promoting kindness and empathy in businesses nationwide. Through speeches, partnerships, and grassroots efforts, he encouraged leaders to use their platforms not just for personal gain, but for positive change. And as for the staff at the restaurant, they never forgot what JD taught them. One employee later said, "He didn't have to come back. He could have walked away and let us deal with the fallout. But instead, he chose to help us grow." The incident proved that even in moments of adversity, there's always a choice to react with anger or to respond with compassion. JD chose the latter, leaving a lasting impact on everyone involved, and perhaps on all of us watching from afar. So what do you think? Did JD handle the situation the right way? Should more leaders follow his example? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this story, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you won't miss the next incredible true story. Trust me, you won't want to.